Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a look at the game Gnomes at Midnight by Analog Game Studios. Now, this is a two-player game, strategy game. So let's go head down to the table. I'm going to give you a general idea how the game plays, and then we're going to come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, so this is what a typical setup of Gnomes of Midnight might look like. So in this game, what you're going to do is you're going to set it up by separating out these cards here. So with the same back, they have different things on the other side, but same back. So I'm going to have all the purple flowers for this player and all the yellow flowers for this one. And then what you're going to do is whatever color you picked, you're going to take your gnomes and you're going to place them on those colors. And you can have up to 2 gnomes on one slot or one spot that is going to be your gnomes. So I put 2 here, 1 here, and 2 in the end. Now, we'll get over why this is important that you have 2 gnomes in here, but the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to flip over the dance card. Now, this is the pattern that you're trying to get in the game. Now, it doesn't matter which way this is oriented, this is just the pattern that you're trying to match, and if you do, you win the game. The other ways you can win the game is you can have your player on each of the different toadstools. So each toadstool, there's 3 of them. Well, if you have your little characters on each, you win the game. The other way is if you bump off 3 of your opponent's gnomes. Now, we'll get into how to do that by showing you a turn. So on a turn, you're going to flip over one of these cards. Now this card here is going to be the spot that player can't go to. So I can't go to any of these spots. I can't move to those. And on my turn, I get to make a choice. I can either add a gnome to the board, or I can move a gnome. If I can move a single gnome, or if I have a pair together, I can move both, or I can move one away. Whichever way I want to do that. If you move onto an opponent's site with a gnome, you actually bump that gnome off the dance floor, and that goes back to the player, and that player can deploy that one if they want on their turn. So, like I said, you're not able to go to this spot. It will change at it actually changes at the end of each of your turn. So, beginning when you'll have one, at the end of your turn now. So let's say I did take these 2 and move them here. I would flick another one, so I know what my limitation is for my next turn. So I can start planning it while my opponent takes their turn. And like I said, that's basically how the game plays. Like I said, your goal is going to be to either match this pattern, doesn't matter which way it goes, get a player on each of these toadstools, or knock 3 players off. Now that seems very simple. It's nice because it's easy to teach, easy to explain, but there's a lot of strategy that goes into trying to get one of these win conditions, because you can't just straightforward try to only do this, because your opponent can stop you from getting that pattern for the most part. You're going to have to be a little crafty, like pretend you're trying to go after these toadstools so they stop you that, but then actually get the pattern, or vice versa. Or pretend you're trying to do something, but you're actually knocking the opponent's gnomes off the board. So there's a lot of different things to think about. The game does play pretty quick. You can have a good strategy going into the game and deploy it. So that's basically the overview of how to play Gnomes at Midnight. Let's go ahead back up to the table here and I'll give you my final thoughts on the game. So Gnomes at Midnight is a nice little 2-player strategy game. So if you're looking for a game to play with a significant other or friends, Gnomes at Midnight may be one you want to look at. It doesn't take very long to play. You're just trying to bump either all the other players' gnomes, or quickly match the pattern, or get on all the toadstools. So there's a lot of push and pull on trying to prevent your opponent from doing that, but doing that at the same time. So you have to be a little sneaky in the game, which is a lot of fun. So I do recommend playing this as a light game that you could play in like 30 so minutes at the end of the game night or end of a long day. It's a really good game for that. And I do like the positives of the strategy where you have 3 different ways to win. So you have 3 different ways to try to trick your opponent into thinking you're maybe going for one type of win by actually doing doing another. So there's a lot of fun in that, and there's a lot of strategy in that, and it's not going to be like a stalemate push and pull where you only have one objective and you can just pretty much like fight each other for a very long time. Those 3 objectives do make a big difference in the game. They do make it where you can trick an opponent in more easily and win the game. So I do like it for that. I do recommend it again for if you want to play with a significant other or a friend, or if you're just looking at the end of a game night where your friends are leaving, you have one left. It's a good game to play. So that is our review of Gnomes of Midnight. Thank you for watching.